to explain what Chiron is a placement in your astrological chart, right? It's a asteroid. Not so much of an asteroid grouped in with the other asteroids, but it's orbiting the outer layers of the major planets. So it still affects us, right? All of these placements affect us in different ways. Chiron's name is the wounded healer. So it has to do with taking your wounds, turning it into power, and then helping other people with it. Everybody has wounds. I'm going to go through them based on the chart. So we're going to start with Aries, right? So if you have your Chiron in Aries, that has a wound of self-identity. Feeling unheard, unseen, or that you don't have a right to exist. Or like, because Aries has to do with their ego, right? Identity, self-identity. So if you have a wound in that, that means you feel like a deflated ego, like you feel low. And the gift in that Chiron wound is to empower others to be bold and courageous, to claim their own individuality, and to start and initiate their own paths. Because, you know, Aries is the leader of the zodiac, so they have to basically help people get started with shit, because it's like that flame, right? Aries is a fire sign. You light that flame up under somebody's seat and get them going. So it's like, if you struggle with something, it's for you to empower and overcome it, and then empower others with that same like struggle, basically struggle wound, whatever, like that. All right, so then the next one is Taurus. And if y'all know y'all Chiron, drop it in the chat. Taurus has to do with self-worth. Thank you for the likes. Has to do with insecurity around money, your material, your safety, your personal value, fear, or loss of inconsistency. But the gift with that is helping others build stability, recognize the inherent worth, and develop healthy value systems. So it's like, Taurus got to do with money, right? Got to do with value. That's second house shit. And if you feel like what you have to offer, your self-worth is diminished, like you don't have nothing to offer, your gift in that is to help people with stability and a little bit of structure, because earth signs is all about structure. The wound of communication is for the Geminis, because that's Mercury. You know, they ruled by Mercury. That's third house energy. So if you have a Chiron in Gemini, you may feel like your voice is not being heard. You may feel like you don't know enough, or you have difficulty expressing your thoughts. And guess who has a Chiron in Gemini? Just take a guess. Because I'm an alien, right? And when I gotta translate this shit to English, I have to figure out a way to, because I'm an independent thought leader and I think differently like anybody else in this whole entire galaxy, and my brain is like unmatched. I have to take galactical type shit and bring it down to an earth perspective to explain it to people, that some people have finite minds, and I have to explain it down to layman's terms, and sometimes I don't. So sometimes the stuff I say go over people's head, but he said I get it. You can see it. Yeah. So in this gift, right, you teach others to learn, to communicate clearly, and share your stories and knowledge effectively. So y'all gonna see a lot, me sharing a lot more of my personal stories. When I tell y'all, like, I'm teaching all the time, right? And when I'm telling y'all stuff, y'all might not know that I'm telling y'all stuff from experience because I don't share the shit that I went through. But as a Sagittarius with a Sagittarius stellium, we get like big ass lessons. With a Scorpio stellium, I'm in the deep, okay? I'm always getting lessons every day. I said it before that everybody gets lessons like at a month and a year. I get daily lessons. Like, I need to get this shit like this, Spirit says. Because I don't have the time. Like, I can't do what other people do. I try to do something that somebody else do and be out of alignment, I get like quick. You say you feel the same way often? Yeah. It can also be from a neurodivergent perspective as well with communication, because like, again, you're different, or we're different. But with communication specifically, like, this is why I was one of my lessons was to operate or to be in a telecommunications for 10 years. That was my previous job, like my corporate blueprint, I would say, was what the longest place I've been in any job was 10 years. And that was in a telecommunications company because I was there to learn how to communicate effectively. And that's why now I'm able to communicate with any walk of life. Like, I can get on a contact communication with somebody from Australia, from Russia, from anywhere around the world, and know how to communicate effectively because I have that skill. I've taken my wound as when I was younger, y'all might not know this, but when I first came out the womb, I was nonverbal. So I didn't speak. I didn't speak words until a couple years in. So that, some would say mute, right? Some would say nonverbal. Some would say other labels, whatever. But it was a wound of communication. Like, if I said something, would y'all even hear me type shit? You feel me? Like, y'all not even really on this level for me to open my mouth and speak because I can see what's going on. Like, I've observed. So when you have that mentality and you like, what's the point of even talking? They're not going to get it. Like, what's the point of communicating if they ain't even going to get it? And so that was one of my viewpoints of like where the wound came from. Feeling like my voice is not being believed. Not that I didn't know enough maybe when I was younger. Because people would like make it seem like, they know more or whatever. But I know, like, that's why every time I learn more about myself, or every time I learn something more about some metaphysics or some type of occult knowledge or something spirituality, I'd be like, I was right. Like, I'd be like, I was right. So now nobody can tell me shit. But I'm helping other people open their throat chakra and communicate what they want to communicate and speak and say it with your chest and say it without having to feel a certain way, because you got a right to speak your shit just like everybody else got a right to speak your shit. So next we moving on to Cancer. Same thing about being right. Yep. Understanding your neurodivergence more. I feel you. And so Cancer's wound is around nurturing, right? Feeling a lack of security, a wound in a family, home, or abandonment by a parental figure. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Coco. Thank you for liking it. And so you may have had, like, younger growing up, having issues in the home, having either being adopted or being, one of your parents left or abandoned the home type energy. A lack of security, like not feeling secure in your home. That's your root chakra anyway. So that can apply to other people even if they don't have a Chiron in Cancer. But your gift in that is to provide deep emotional safety and nurturance to others. So because you know what it's like to not feel that nurturing, you don't want other people to feel that, and you nurture others. So you act as a warm, embracing home for those who need it. Even if it's not a physical place, it's like a safe space when they're around you. That's your gift as a Cancer Chiron. And then I'll go back and recap these. If y'all know y'all Chirons and you want me to go through it, just let me know. We can talk about it. Because this is giving you a sneak peek of what like a FlowChop is. Because it's not a workshop. It's not just me just doing presentation. It's a communication. It's a communicating conversation, like a flow. But it's also chopping things up, so you breaking things down. And it's an exchange, because the etymology of the word chop means also to barter and exchange. Yeah. So that's what, like, I'm a master teacher. My life path is 33. So in these flow chops, I am teaching. You will still learn. Like the next one that's coming up is the full moon flow chop. That's on November 5th, Wednesday at like 8 p.m. We talking about becoming financially free. Right? Because financial freedom, first of all, freedom is the goal in general. Liberation for all my people is the goal, mission, 100%. But making sure like we break it down into different aspects, so that way it's not like all this information at once. So I'll be releasing different flow chops on different topics. Chiron, yes, Chiron. Yeah. So he's like, he has the energy of the Ophiuchus, because he's the wounded healer, and the serpent is like the wounded. That's actually what Ophiuchus' name is, like the wounded healer. And if y'all can hear me good, let me know. Just want to make sure. So we'll move on to Leo next. Oh, Leo Chiron. So if you have a Chiron in Leo, this has to do with the wound of recognition, right? The fear of being unseen. Because Leo's all about like shine and watch me. Okay, cool. Thank you. Watch me energy, and you know, out there, bold, courageous type energy when healed, right? And evolved. There's 3 stages of each sign. I'm going to go through that in another flow chop later as well. So with the wound of recognition, you might not feel like you special. You not feel like you seen. You might feel inadequate. You might hinder your creativity or have difficulty shining. Like have difficulty shining your light. Feeling like you need to dim your light because of other people to make them feel comfortable or something like that. Like, you know, you don't want to be all yourself because other people and their projections and their limitations, you know, you feel that. So you don't, or you were taught that as a child. You may have taught that you were too much. You feel me? So the gift in that is to model authentic self-expression, to just be your full self. You want to have purple hair, get fucking purple hair. You want to have green hair, get green hair. You want to get a tattoo and like do it. It's your self-expression. It's how you want to express yourself. You have that right as your own creatrix, because you were gifted with free will, meaning you have the ability to create your own reality. And it says also encouraging others to embrace their unique spark, right? We all got that spark. Shine your light. We the salt of the earth. You got to make this shit a little razzle dazzle. You know, we don't want everybody looking the same. That's just boring. Add a little color to this life. You feel me? Be proud of your creations. That's the energy of like, you want to draw, you want to do art. It's like, yes, I did this. I created it, and stand on that shit. Like, this is what I created. Watch it. Look at this world. Look what I created. So that's the energy of like a Chiron in Leo, with the wound side of it and the gift side of it. And next up will be Virgo. Virgo is the earth sign. Virgo is all analytical, practical type energy, big on service, right? So their wound in Virgo is perfectionism. Feeling, if you have a Chiron in Virgo, feeling like you have to be perfect. So you may feel nice. You may feel broken, feeling broken, defiled, never good enough. Like if it's not perfect, you don't want to put it out. Or if it's not perfect, you don't want to show it. You don't want to present it out to the world, to people, your friends, your workplace, whatever the case may be. You might have hypochondria or excessive self-criticism. Like beat yourself up real bad. Because especially if you have your Chiron in Virgo and you weren't raised in a supportive community, with like support and uplifting and encouragement and inspiration, you can do it. You're gonna definitely like take this really hard, where you'll be down on yourself because you didn't get it. But the gift in that is to help others with practical healing, with steps that they can take to heal, to refine their process, and bring order to chaotic, unmanageable situations. So, like I said, it's practical, it's very analytical, thought out, Virgo energy, right? So they can formulate a plan and be like, here's a 30-day thing you can follow. You feel me? To help you on your healing journey. So that is, and once you get over that wound of perfectionism, you'll put it out. You can always edit shit later. Like, don't feel like nothing is set in stone forever. I mean, yeah, once you put it out, it's there, but don't think like you can't come back from anything, from nothing, because you can. It don't matter what it is. And I can tell y'all many stories on that. I'm just going down. Like, that's how I know I'm an alchemist, because I go down, come back up. And at some points, I did it intentionally, because I know the come up is going to be even better. So the next one will be Libra. Talking about Chiron and Libra. These are dealing with wounds around relationships. So difficulty with partnerships, feeling unequal, or feeling a fear of aloneness and rejection. I'm also getting like giving away your power, like martyrdom in a little bit. Like you want to be loved so much, or you want to be in a relationship so much, so you'll sacrifice some of yourself and your self-worth and self-values just to be in a relationship, because you don't want to be alone. Teaching others is the gift, is to teach others the true meaning of harmony and balance and fairness in relationships and interactions, which way you have autonomy and you have not only harmony but equilibrium and balance between the two, and you're not, one person is not giving too much into the relationship and the other person is not, it's equal. So that is once going through the wound to be able to help others with that same thing that you struggled with. Moving on to Scorpio. We in Scorpio season right now. So, it's going to be deep, something deep within. But it has to do with the wound of power and trust. Also, trauma regarding betrayal. Anything around sexuality, right? Deep emotional control and fear of vulnerability. So that's the wound, right? Anything having to do with trusting others or giving away power. It's not something Scorpio and Chiron wants to do. Anything regarding sexuality, feeling like you want to hide, because Scorpio is like the deep underworld type sign, right? So it's a lot of hidden, secret, mysterious type shit going on down there. And that's the 8th house of mystery and secrets. So anything that's hidden, anything that's not talked about, taboo and all this other shit, that's a wound, right? You don't want to be vulnerable around that, because you have a fear of, it could be non-acceptance, like not being accepted and things like that. Hey, and the ones that just coming in, we just talking about Chiron in each sign. And Chiron is the wounded healer energy, wounded healer sign. So overcoming your wounds, helping others with things that you struggled with, because your astrological birth chart will tell you what your struggles are and how you can overcome it, and how you can, basically tells you everything you need to know about yourself and other modalities, which I got a guide coming very soon that'll break down summaries to multiple modalities of like Chinese zodiac, just different things you can use to learn about yourself. And then you have the access to, or the option to, get a personalized report, and that's going to give you like a deep dive, like in detail with everything. It's also going to see how different things can play together, right? Or things you have to look out to that may conflict with one another, how you can, blend the two together to have the balance. Because you might be a Cancer, right? A Cancer sun sign. But you might be a horse in Chinese zodiac. So that's conflicting. It looks like it's conflicting, right? Where it's like, horse is about freedom and just going and being and just this wild energy. And then Cancer is more reclusive and like within introspective and stuff like that, right? So if you want to know how to balance those two, or how to apply that in your everyday aspect, like that will be in the personalized report, just to give you a heads up to what's coming and how you can use it. And thank y'all for the like, show. Appreciate it. All right, so we're moving on to Sagittarius next. No, we're not. We ain't finished Scorpio. The gifts. The gift of Scorpio is to guide others through transformation. Because you pulled yourself up out of that. Hey, that's Sidereal astrology. How you doing? Because you pulled yourself through that, you can now help others, guide them through that transformation, through their shadow work, through the acceptance of their own deep truths and vulnerabilities. So like the stuff you went through, and it's given each of these signs that have, thank you, love, each of these signs that have a Chiron, you can be a consultant based on your womb. You can consult other people based on, or guide other people, or help other people, just in your natural essence, where you don't have to think that it's work. You don't have to feel like it's kind of like your passion. It's like your fuel, in a sense. Once you go through the wound, once you get through the wound, once you heal the wound, and you can help other people, like if they feel hidden or they feel ashamed of this and that, you can be like, you know what, you ain't gotta feel ashamed. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You ain't even gotta feel a certain type of way about your vulnerability or whatever it is you're going through, because guess what, you can transform through that shit. Donna, hey. And so next we'll do Sagittarius, and we have 4 more signs. And then if we want to go back to any of them, we'll touch a little recap. So Sagittarius wound would be around belief and meaning. So like Sagittarius have to do with higher learning. Sagittarius have to do with philosophy, right? Finding the meaning in things. They may struggle with faith. They may struggle with feeling aimless, like not having any direction. Because you know them Sagittarius got them targets, and once they set their goal, they be locked in, you know. But if you don't have any, if you have a wound in Chiron, in Sagittarius, then, hey H, thank you for liking the live, then you don't have that direction. You don't have that aim, that focus. Or you may have a fear of exploration. Like, whether it's physical, going somewhere, right? You don't want to go into something new. Sagittarius is a sign of exploration. Like, we're going to explore some shit. So even if it's physical or intellectual, if you don't want to, like, where it said they struggle with faith, right? Say, for instance, you were put in a super religious background, or you were raised in a super religious background, and you were made to feel fearful for exploring other religions or other practices of faith, whether it be Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever the case may be. It's like you may have this fear that was placed upon you, this inherent fear that you picked up from somebody else because of that wound, that Chiron in Sagittarius. Now, the gift of that, you can serve as a guide to spiritual paths. You can serve as someone who offers profound philosophy and hope to other people. You can, like, give them hope, because you know what? You didn't have hope. You couldn't see the end of the tunnel before, but you found the end of the tunnel, and now Sagittarius is known for going ahead, doing some shit that nobody else do, and then going back and pulling other people and saying, you know what? They the ones who, they say trailblazers, but I say it's like they make their own path. So think if you see a forest and you don't see no path, they're going to make their own path, right? And then they're going to go back and they're going to say, hey guys, I found a way that gets us through here, through this forest, to the other side where the water is, or whatever the case may be. And going back and pulling other people along. We are the bridge of the spiritual world and the material world. That bridge to Bifrost. I think it's called Bifrost. Bifrost is the bridge. It was in Marvel with Asgard, when they had that rainbow bridge. Yeah, Sagittarius are symbolized by, like, the rainbow and, like, the archer, like, setting the arrow. You know, arrow goes up and then comes down just like a rainbow does. So yeah, that's that energy of Sagittarius. So you serve as a guide to others on their spiritual path, to help them, guide them, or let them know that they can explore other avenues, right? Other directions. You offer profound philosophy and hope, and you help others find the meaning in their pain. So he's like, everything that we went through is for a reason. Sometimes if you're so caught up in the pain, you won't see the reason. You won't see the gift between and inside of it. Be in it. So, like, you won't see that gift if you're so caught up on the pain. Like, for instance, personal story time. Here we go. I had a couple years back decided to straighten my, thank you for the follow, love, do a straighten on my teeth, because when I was younger, my wisdom teeth were coming in and I didn't have enough space in my mouth to for it to come in. So they were pushing my back molars down, like it was like this, and it pushed it down as the other ones. So I got the wisdom teeth pulled, but it left my back teeth like laying down. So I decided to get the invisible braces to fix it. And prior to that, one of my sons hit me in my mouth, and like my tooth was hurting for a while, but then I felt like when I put them on, it was giving a sense of structure. It was cool for me. So I had went through, like, how many sets. You get boxes and you get little, every couple weeks you gotta switch a different thing and da-da-da. But I had went back and I got another box, but I'd only used the box for like maybe one or two of the out of the package. Now, when you do this, they put little notches on your teeth so that way it can fit in place. And I still got these notches on my teeth. And I was like, the other day I was like, well, shit, I still got the notches on my teeth. Like, if it was meant for me to take it off, like, Spirit would have given me the opportunity. It would have, just opened up. That's how shit happened for me. I know when I'm supposed to do something, when I'm called to something, and like, even if I try to brush it away, it still comes back to me. I thought about getting the notches taken off, but then I kind of was just like, I don't really need to at this time. So they stayed on. And then I was thinking the other day, and I'm like, well, shit, I still got this box, and I still got these notches, so why don't I just finish this shit? Like, finish what I started. I was fearful because I thought that when I got hit, that compromise, and the more it pushed, I just was like, I was afraid. I didn't want to push my tooth to the limit. And then another thing, when you first put them on, if you ain't had them on in a while, them shits hurt. So I remember like the other day, I was like, I'm going to do 1 hour at a time and work my way up, right? I'm going to do like an hour, do 2 hours, whatever. So I had did 2 hours the first day. And then the next day I went to put them on and it was like hurting too much. So I took them off and then I left them out for like a day. And then I decided to do it at night. I was like, well, I'm sleeping. I ain't going to feel the shit. So I decided to put it on night, and it's gonna feel this tightness, it's gonna feel this, and I'm just like, But one thing about pain, it only hurts when you resist it. And I know this from childbirth. When you brace for pain and you like doing this and flexing and you don't want to feel it, them contractions feel worse. They feel so bad. But if you just like relax and kind of like push through the pain, not push through the pain, but like embrace the pain. Yeah, that's the word. Embrace the pain. Then it doesn't hurt so much. And so I shifted my mindset just yesterday regarding this very same thing around pain. And I was like, you know what? It's only pain because I'm holding on and I don't want my teeth to be flexible. I don't want my teeth to move. Let me relax. I started breathing a little deeper. I said, you know what? Let me move with the flow of it. And I started to get some relief where I can lay down and I can rest. So that was a little story time based on pain. I came through somebody's live and it was like, when you cut a finger, what is the first thing you feel? And I was like, shocked. Like, oh shit, I did that. Like, I be always shocked. Every time I cut myself, I'm like, what the fuck? And then other people were saying pain, but I was like, I don't feel pain when I cut my finger. I just, she's like, that's not pain you feel. You were taught to feel pain. What you really feeling is your body sending, healing, and your receptors are just feeling the act of healing, and you think that that's pain. So yeah, perspective, right? It's all about perspective. So with that, I'm like, yeah, it's pain because I'm resisting and I don't want to allow new. I don't want to allow the change to occur. But the shit is happening because with the shit on there, you ain't got no choice but to move. You can't stay where you at, stay the same when something pushing you this way, and take that and put it in your life, and take that into like philosophical wise and say, if something's pushing you to a different direction, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, if spirit is pushing you out of this shit and you resisting and you trying to stay longer than your expiration date, it's going to be worse off than if you just allowed the shift. If you just allowed the change to occur, because that's one thing that's constant in life is change. Nature, look at nature, it's always moving, it's always changing. Now there's cyclical, which means things come back around, but change occurs all the time. So that we was on the Sagittarius aspect, we were talking about meaning and philosophical, and I'm a Sag, big Sag with the Sag stellium and the Sag sun and the Sag got plenty Sag stellium placements. So I had to stop and talk about like everything we go through is for a bigger purpose, and to change your perspective a little bit, because different signs look like Virgo, we talked about them being very practical and looking at the details, where Sagittarius is look at the big picture. So it's always a different perspective to look at things, right? And that's why it's best to know your chart and know who you are, because you might look at things differently than other people look at things, and that's okay. That's part of the reason I created the Starsology report, where you can get your placements and how they work within one another, and so forth and so on. So the guide is coming soon. I'm gonna let y'all know. But if y'all want to sign up for the FlowChop for November 5th, I have it where you can get it for $22 for just a one-time access, or you can get it for $11 a month. You pay community, either through school or through the Halo app. So that's one of the two options you got. You get when you do the $11 a month, you get access to all the FlowChops for the month, which there's going to be multiple ones being released. And you get access where it's like, once, if you didn't make it, you still get access to the information. So if you find this information valuable, you learn something new, tap in. I also have free communities that you can access, where it's not a membership fee, but it is just basically a cosmic frequency, a safe space for those to come together and whoop-de-whoop, blah, blah, get shit done, heal, awaken, transform to your higher self, right? And be sovereign. That's the goal. Sovereignty. Being able to stand on your own 2 feet, being able to have the liberation and freedom that you deserve and that you are worth, and it's your inherent birthright, okay? So all of this is not something new. It's just something old that they took away, and we bringing it back, okay? This ain't new age shit. This new old shit, okay? So after Sagittarius, we got Capricorn. Thank y'all for the likes. Appreciate it. We at 10K already. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Them scores is active today. Alright, so Capricorn's wound is around authority. I can see that. Saturn is around authority, structure, like Father Time, right? Karma. And Capricorn has to do with that same energy of like ambition, structure, all of that. Authority, taking the lead and doing something, right? Initiative. Their cardinal sign as well, like Aries. So they start shit, right? The wound of authority, they deal with struggling with responsibility, ambition, social standing, or fear of failure or inadequacy. Like if they feel like, you know what, I don't want to do this because it ain't gonna work. You having a fear of failure. Something just popped in my head. It took me back to the previous workshops I was doing around the chakras, where I break down the root chakra and how they use fear. They use fear and they use anxiety to basically keep you in your root, right? So I'm gonna bring those back. And show y'all the occult hidden secrets behind these things. Some people just say, oh, the chakra is this color, this is the symbol, you do this mudra, you do this yoga pose, and you'll be good. No. That's what's up. Yes, 333 equilibrium, and it's 9, year to 9 end cycle, because we ending this shit. We ending this slavery shit. Like, we are sovereign. And sovereign starts first in the mind. So once you free your mind, the rest will follow. Look, that song, free your mind and the rest will follow. Yep. So I'm gonna bring that back as another flow chop, dealing with the root chakras, the sacral chakra, how they use the tips and tricks to keep people in them lower 3 chakras. And that's going to help you elevate and get to the higher 3 chakras once you get past the heart, once you get past the healing, once you get past the wound. Because you got to love and compassion and give yourself grace to give yourself time to heal these wounds. That's transformation. That's the Scorpio stellium in me that helps people transform. And it's funny how, like, even if I don't have a Chiron in Scorpio, I resonate with that energy because I have a Scorpio stellium. You feel me? That's another thing that'll come up in that Starsology report, the stelliums. So, Capricorn, if they feel like, you know, you're not responsible enough, or you don't want to take on this, because Capricorn's got a call on their life to handle some shit. They the bosses, they the CEOs, and it's like sometimes in the wounded phase they don't want to take on that. They're like ready to be like, fuck this shit. Social standing, be out there, be seen, as the boss of this. They fear inadequate. It's like imposter syndrome in a way. And so their gift is to empower others to overcome social and career fears, right? From being that boss, from being that CEO. You can be the CEO of your own life. You can own your own business. You can operate and own your own energy and your time. You don't need somebody to tell you when to clock in here and clock out there. You can take responsibility of your own life and do what you need to do. That's the energy of Capricorn. It's like, you know how when you're a CEO, when you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, you're a boss. Nobody's going to wake you up and tell you, get up and start working on your business. You got to want to do that shit yourself. You got to want to do that shit yourself, because ain't nobody going to knock on your door and be like, hey, get to the money. Get to the money. They ain't going to do it. It ain't coming. You going to have to do that shit. You have to look in the mirror and be like, let's get it. Put that playlist on or whatever you got to do and get to the bag, because ain't nobody going to come do that shit for you, or ain't nobody going to come tell you you got to do it. Everything that, when you are your own, you have to be responsible for your own in all aspects. And I'll be doing other FlowChops with businesses, starting businesses. I've started 3 or 4 of them already. Operating and how to start on what you need to do to start it. I'm going to do one regarding like the entrepreneurial energy, where it's like, fix your mind first, because if your mind ain't right, you ain't gonna want to embark on this shit by yourself, or not by yourself, but you ain't gonna want to keep going, basically, if you're not set and your mind is set, because your mind controls everything. Or if you have a fear of it failing before you even start type thing, it's not gonna work. And when you have that mindset. So, and if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can do that. Just DM me or send me, go to the link in bio and do the inquiry form. Hey, Jasmine. So, yeah, like, sovereignty is you control of your own soul. You having your own willpower. You doing what you want to do. You going somewhere because you want to, not because somebody's making you. Not because they tell you got to, and you're like, because then that puts you in a low vibration. So it's like, when you do things that you want to do, that's a high vibration. So that Capricorn, Chiron gift is to help people overcome their fears regarding career, overcoming social fears, modeling ethical and responsible leadership and endurance. So those are the gifts of Capricorn, Chiron. And we move on to Aquarius, and then we have Pisces left. And then if anybody wants me to run back any of the signs, let me know. The wound of belonging. So with Aquarius, its wound is around belonging. Aquarius is, hey, Solare. Aquarius energy is like the aliens of the zodiac, right? So they are the ones set apart, but they also are humanitarians, and they have the sense of community. Like, they care for the people. They just are very set apart. So their wound would have a wound of belonging. And they might feel like an outcast, feel like an alien, or different from the group. And they have a fear of being rejected by the collective. So because they feel like, oh, they're too different, they're not going to be liked, they're not going to be accepted, they're not going to be received, right? And the healing aspect of it, the gift in that, is to help others recognize their unique spark. So that way, it's like to embrace your individuality. Like, it's okay to be set apart. It's okay to stand on your own and be different and be the weird, kooky, quirky, energy. Like, you can embrace that shit and you can thrive still in your own energy. They can serve as an innovative guide for the collective's future and humanitarian causes. So they can help push forward the collective once they work past that wound in an innovative and a humanitarian way, as you do. I don't even think your Chiron is in Aquarius. It might be, but because you are Aquarius, you might resonate with this wound. That's why I said there's 3 signs for every zodiac. It's 3 archetypes for each zodiac. They always tell us, oh, Scorpion is a Scorpion archetype. But they also have a serpent archetype, they also have an eagle archetype, and they also have a phoenix archetype. They have different levels of evolution. We all do, as different signs. So that's another FlowChop that's coming, is the evolutionary stages of each zodiac. And that's going to play in with the program I got coming of the healing, awakening, transforming. Because it's going to take everybody through those 3 stages in their evolutionary journey. So y'all stay tuned for that. So yeah, Aquarius, if you feel like the outcast, if you feel like the oddball, like, you deal with that wound, you heal that wound, and then you help others embrace their individuality. And then we're going to do Pisces, Chiron and Pisces. Has to do with the wound of boundaries. Oh, because Pisces had to do with Neptune energy. Neptune, could have that martyrdom energy. Karma, thank you for liking the live. They got that martyrdom energy where it's like they self-sacrifice and they'll do for others, and they care so much, right? They're so sensitive and they care so much for other people that they will put them first before they put themselves first, and then they be drained. So that Pisces wound is around boundaries. They struggle with martyrdom, victimization, escaping reality. So that's like disassociation, where they don't even want to deal with the shit here. They out of here. They up in the clouds. They in their daydreams, in their fields, wherever they at, wherever they residing at, they're not here. Okay. And they might feel overwhelmed by the world's suffering in the wound, basically taking on everybody else's problems as their own. Like, huge empath energy, like elevated empath energy. Like, oh, you hurting? I'm hurting too. Bitch, that ain't your emotion. That is not your emotion. That's their emotion. And then that's where boundaries, right, come in at. Teddy L. Doodle. That's a funny name. So when you heal the wound, the gift in that is you can still operate as you are, but having boundaries. You model deep compassion. You have spiritual sympathy. Like, you can understand people on their spiritual journey. It's going to be hard and they're going to go through some shit, but you don't embody their emotions of hurt and pain. You feel me? And you teach others to set energetic boundaries while still remaining sensitive. So you're not taking away your essence of who you are as a Pisces Chiron, of wanting to help and heal others, in a sense, with care and love and compassion. But you are just making sure you have an energetic boundary where you don't take on other people's problems as your own, and you separate You have a sense of that separation. You have a sense of protection, like a bubble around yourself. So that was the signs of Chiron in all of the signs, what they wound is, what they have to struggle with or overcome. And then once they heal it, what the gift is of how they can turn that into their power and turn that into, their passion. Taking pain and turn it into purpose type thing. So that's that transmutation, that's that alchemy, right? That transformation. So hope that helped. Hope that resonated with some of y'all. Or I don't know if y'all know y'all Chiron sign. If y'all know y'all sign, y'all can drop it in the chat. That's perfect. And if y'all got any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat right now, because I'm in here at like 54 minutes. And when it gets to an hour, I'm going to drop off. I think I'm going to go live on my other page a little later. I'll probably do the same thing. And then one of those, no, it's just Chiron, Chiron. It's usually like down in the bottom, like the asterisk. Or if you're looking at your chart, it's going to be a little K symbol. It's going to be like a line, a key, a line, and like a top of a K. Even though it's spelled with a CH, the key got a K looking top to it. If you go in like where you look at your chart, just scroll down. Like if you're looking at Cafe Astrology, you gotta look further down in the page. Like I don't think it's gonna tell you where your regular like 12 house placements are, or where your like major planet placements. You gotta scroll down to where it's like at the bottom. So I'm gonna do this one live one more time, and I'm gonna put the recording on the platform that I explained earlier, the community. So you'll have access to all types of FlowChop information, mini FlowChop. This is a mini FlowChop because this is under an hour. The regular FlowChop will be more like an hour and a half, 2 hours, but you'll get access to Q&A at the end. If you get the recorded version in community, or if you purchase the recorded version, you won't get the Q&A aspect, but you'll get the information. So you'll be able to purchase it later, one time if you want to, one-time price. If you ever missed any of the FlowChops but still wanted to get the access to the information,